welcome to another episode of Stupid Ideas from Bad Creative. I am Slim John by Sid. Hello, Sid.
How we doing?
And this episode, as you know, because you read the title, because you've seen the thumbnail, I'm sure if you haven't, then that's good. This will be a surprise. It's WWECW. It's this is peak Stupid Ideas, or maybe not even peak Stupid Ideas. Peak Bad Creative.
Yeah.
But yeah, so WWE brought back ECW, which now is known by the wrestling community as WWECW because it's not ECW.
No. And we had ECW back pre-invasion.
Yep.
And we've discussed this episode 1.
Yep. Lightly.
Yeah. Lightly we touched on that it was the gore era, the weapons,
ECW was, yep.
And then they got brought out and it all got stopped for better or for worse.
Yep. So, yeah, backstory on ECW. It's Extreme Championship Wrestling.
Yeah.
It was a company ran by the now former advocate for the Beast Incarnate Brock Lesnar and the current wise man to the head of the table and tribal chief Roman Reigns. That being Paul Heyman.
Gotcha.
ECW focused on the extreme side of wrestling. Massive bumps, weapons, barbed wire, fire, all that sort of shit. Yeah, fire. Set things on fire. Also, they loved swearing and sex and all that sort of shit, you know. Everything that the other companies weren't doing. During the mid to late 90s, ECW was regarded as the third major wrestling promotion behind WWF and WCW. Despite the fact that Paul Heyman had nowhere near as much money as either Vince or Ted Turner, whose nickname is Billionaire Ted, he didn't have that much money.
Okay.
To the point where that's what killed the business.
Right.
Like, he didn't have enough money to pay wrestlers or anything. Like, yeah.
Yeah, and I imagine asking them to do all that stuff would be expensive.
Yeah. And I mean, without having as much money, he doesn't have as much exposure, all that sort of shit, you know. But it was the style of wrestling and the word of mouth and all that sort of shit that got them over.
For as long as they did.
Yeah. You know, sure they weren't as big as WCW or WWF, but they were big enough to pay the bills. So, yeah. Back, episode 1 of this series, we talked about the invasion, where ECW eventually joins WWE after WCW's purchased, and we get the alliance. So, yeah, why don't you give us a rundown of the invasion?
Fucking mess. Poorly planned. Just generally not a lot of forethinking, resulting in a lot of what felt like last minute decisions. It was a rebooking and a half. It just could have been so different. Could have been so different, could have been so much better, could have brought so many people into the world of wrestling, wouldn't have lost so many fans. It's a shit show.
Yeah. So, I did just remember that we forgot to do this at the start of the episode, but do you know who Sabu is?
Who Sabu is? We do not. I don't know.
The Sandman.
Ooh. No.
Tommy Dreamer.
No.
Taz.
No.
Joey Styles.
No.
Paul Heyman.
Wait. Is that a trick question?
No.
No.
Anybody else that I can think of? Rob Van Dam.
No.
CM Punk.
Yes.
Bobby Lashley.
No.
Big Show.
Yes.
Test.
No.
Okay. Hardcore Holly.
We went through all the Hollies last time.
Yeah. So, yeah, with saying that, we will get to pretty much all of them.
Okay.
But yeah, so 2005, WWE put on a show called ECW One Night Stand. It was a reunion show And
bringing back some of the old ECW stars.
yeah, it was
Nice.
it was a reunion show. Like they had Paul Heyman running it. Like it was billed under ECW pretty much.
Okay.
Like WWE funded it, but it was an ECW show.
Okay, cool.
And yeah, you had guys like Tommy Dreamer and all that coming back to have a match and whatever. And they even had a go at, like, there was Raw and SmackDown stars. Because to promote it, they did another invasion from ECW.
Oh, nice. That's kind of
Yeah,
fun.
yeah. So then this time they had the Raw and SmackDown guys show up on the show, and
Nice.
it ended with a brawl between ECW and the other guys, and Blue Meanie got busted open by JBL, blood everywhere.
Nice.
So Blue Meanie managed to get his revenge a couple of months later when he cracked him in the head with a steel chair. Very, very hard. So yeah, but yeah, so they did that, and turns out the fans actually quite liked that.
Yeah.
It actually felt like an ECW show.
You have a bit of nostalgia.
Yeah, it didn't feel like it was a WWE show with ECW. It felt like an ECW show with WWE's money. So,
And
yeah,
explosion.
Vince sort of looked at that and went, maybe we could bring them back. So, after 2005, we then got One Night Stand 2006. And a couple of weeks before that, WWE announced that ECW would be a third brand.
Oh, wow, okay.
This would be their first pay-per-view. But it would also function as a reunion show as well. Like, they would set things up while also bringing some of the old guys back just to... Yeah.
Cool.
So, this was a pretty good pay-per-view as well as the 2005 one. Wasn't quite as good as the 2005 one, but it wasn't bad. The main event of the show was John Cena versus Rob Van Dam. Van Dam cashing in his Money in the Bank against Cena. He announced he was cashing it in there to fight Cena.
Yep.
So they had a match, and Van Dam won the WWE Championship.
Nice.
I believe he'd also won the ECW title at some point too, so
Cool.
he was champion. Double champ.
So we've got... So by the three brands, SmackDown, Raw, and ECW.
Yep.
Was going to be the new... Yep. Dang, cool.
2 days after One Night Stand 06 was the first episode of WWE ECW. WWECW was successful for a little while, but the numbers dropped rather quick.
Right.
And then in December, they had a pay-per-view called December to Dismember, which was, to say bad, would be an understatement. And usually people don't get fired for putting on shows like that, you know. Paul Heyman was fired.
Oh, wow.
So that didn't improve anything.
No.
Given that the person who knows what ECW is got fired. Now, I will say that Paul would come up with ideas, run them through a committee, who would then run them through Vince. So, yeah, they would sort of cut a lot of stuff that Paul wanted to do.
Kind of rough that Paul got fired for doing a bad show when he was running everything through
People, yeah.
other people.
Yeah. So, WWECW ran until February 16th, 2010. It got cancelled and replaced with NXT The Game Show.
Wow, okay.
So, yeah, that's where the Nexus show up. So, yeah, the next part is the major problem with WWECW. And that was that when it was revived, they changed everything.
Okay, so what year are we in now?
2006.
Okay.
So ECW, which stands for Extreme Championship Wrestling, or if you're watching WWECW, Extremely Crappy Wrestling. So yeah, you would think that the show's going to be a bit extreme, given it's in the name.
Yeah.
It wasn't. It sort of just ran off the same formula as Raw and SmackDown, which is fine if all they did was sort of add violence to it. But no, they didn't. They just ran the same formula. Exactly the same.
Which would be, again, fine if you weren't expecting something else.
Yeah.
You come into this expecting extreme, and you get what you're getting. Usually, it's like, why am I...
You come in expecting extreme, and you get everything. You get the same things you get every other day.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they only ever did extreme matches when the storyline called for it, which was rarely. And when they did, they called them Extreme Rules matches. So instead of just going, this is ECW, you're having a match, no rules. Because that's how ECW was. It's now, you're having a match, that's Extreme Rules, so there's no rules this time. But this person's having a match, and they're having a match. Follow the rules. And we'll get to December to Dismember. But yeah, so the selling point of the show was gimmicks, and they're not being used at all. And that might not sound too bad.
No, but not great.
But yeah, like they're banking on people tuning into the one night stand shows, which are proper ECW shows.
Yeah.
And saying, hey, see what we're doing here? We're going to do this weekly.
Except without any of the violence.
Except we're not going to do what we're doing here weekly. We're just going to do what we normally do weekly. So, yeah.
But with your ECW characters.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's basically, it's just not what people are tuning in for. December to Dismember. It was so bad that Heyman got fired. Big Show, Tommy Dreamer, Stevie Richards all left the company.
Oh, shit.
ECW never had a standalone pay-per-view again.
Oh,
and
shit.
instead were inserted into other shows just to blow off some storylines. Otherwise, they just do it on TV.
Oh, shit.
Prior to the show taking place, there were 2 matches announced out of 6 that were aired. So, here's the marketing for the show. We've got Eminem, which is Johnny Nitro, Mercury, and Joey Mercury and Melina, versus the Hardy Boys. And we've got the Extreme Elimination Chamber, which we'll get to. And they go, right, they're your matches. We're promoting that. Oh yeah, but there are 4 other matches to go on the card still that we haven't announced.
We're just not going to tell you what those are.
Yeah, we didn't. Like, they didn't get announced at all. Like, you were watching the show. The show started with the Hardys match, and then the next 4 matches, nobody knew what they were. And then you had the main event, which was the Extreme Elimination Chamber. So yeah. Now there was a 7th match on the card, but it's not actually on the show. It's a dark match, just to get the crowd pumped. It was Stevie Richards versus Rene Dupree. And also at the start of the show, commentator Joey Styles accidentally spoiled the main event. Big Show was walking in with his championship, and Joey Styles said that there's going to be a new ECW champion tonight.
Big Show's like, is there?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, not if I have anything to say about it, actually. Yeah. Turns out there was.
Funnily enough,
Yeah.
damn. Shock. Oh.
Yeah, so that was that rules out one person in that chamber match. So there's now 5 potential winners.
Yeah. Wow.
But however, on top of that, they decided that they're going to take out of that match the one of the only ECW originals in that match, that being the homicidal, genocidal, suicidal Sabu.
Right.
In other words, he's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he got taken out of the match. So one of the
So you're calling it an ECW?
favourites.
You're calling it an ECW match, but you've removed your most violent contender.
Yep. Yeah, so the only difference between a normal elimination chamber and an extreme one is that in the pods, they've got weapons.
Whoa.
There's a table, a chair, a kendo stick, I believe. I can't remember. I was watching it last night, but I can't remember. And they've got a barbed wire baseball bat.
Good.
Or 2x4 or something. I can't remember.
Gotta keep the barbed wire in there.
That's how extreme it is. It's got barbed wire on it. It's not that extreme.
No fire.
Yeah.
Disappointed.
However, Sabu, he was replaced by Hardcore Holly.
Okay. Who is not that hardcore?
Lifelong mid-carder. In other words, definitely isn't winning the world title. So, Big Show's not winning. Hardcore Holly's not winning.
Great. So we've narrowed down our winners.
Yep.
For those of you who like spoilers.
Yeah. So, then the opening of the show was regarded as match of the night. So that's not very good when you've got the rest of the show.
Including your main event.
Yeah. The next match was a Strikers Rules match with Matt Striker and somebody that I can't remember. Oh, Balls Mahoney it was. Like I said, I was watching it last night, but it just wouldn't let me watch the friggin' show. So I only got past this match and it wouldn't let me watch it anymore. But yeah, so this match was all about Strikers Rules, which was no pokes to the eyes, no low blows, no biting, no pulling hair, no top rope manoeuvres. Yeah.
No fun.
Yeah, right. Now, obviously, you can see where they're going with this. Piss the crowd off. He's a bad guy.
Yeah.
Only difference is that Balls Mahoney was an ECW original, and I mean, ECW is not known for work rate. And this match, if you're banning all that stuff, has to be a work rate match. Balls Mahoney is now also not in the condition he was back in the 90s. You know, 10 years ago.
No, so he's not going to be able to keep up
as much. Matt Striker is dog shit at wrestling. So that
this match just got very, very boring very quickly.
Yeah, it was not great. I'll see how here we go. How long it went for? Because I'm pretty sure it went for like 6 minutes or something. 7 minutes 12. The first match went for 22 minutes, which was a great match.
Yeah.
And then, Balls Mahoney beats Matt Striker in 7 minutes 12. About 5 minutes too long. Then we get Elijah Burke and Sylvester Turkay versus the FBI, which is the full-blooded Italians. Little Guido and Tony Marmaduke, right? Which Elijah Burke and Turkay win that in 6 minutes 41.
Nice.
I don't know who the hell Turkay is, so that shows you how important he is. FBI were ECW originals.
Okay.
Who have lost. Elijah Burke's really good though, but yeah. Then we had Davari versus Tommy Dreamer, which Davari won with the help of the Great Khali. Took 7 minutes 22. That's where it stopped letting me watch this bloody show. I was trying to watch this match and it wouldn't let me. Then we've got Ariel and Kevin Thorne versus Kelly Kelly and Mike Knox, which Ariel and Kevin Thorne won in 7 minutes 43. Out of all of them, the only notable name there is Kelly Kelly. She became Divas Champion a couple of years later. So, yeah.
That's something.
It's something. Kevin Thorne, I can't remember who the hell he is. Oh, that's right, he's Mordecai. Yeah, right. There was a wrestler who was sort of the opposite of The Undertaker in 2004, called Mordecai.
Right.
So that's Kevin Thorne now. Ariel and Kevin Thorne are vampires, by the way.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Bit weird. And then we had the ECW, the Elimination Chamber match, for the title. Yeah, it took 24 minutes 42. So, yeah, that's how the show went. And
very short.
very shitty. Given that those middle matches, none of them were announced. And, I mean, we had a Strikers Rules match, which didn't even allow top rope maneuvers.
No.
Then we had a normalised tag team match, a normalised singles match, a mixed tag team match, which again is normal rules. However, women have to fight the women and men have to fight the men. So
it's not really a tag team match. It's just a.
It's just two singles matches. Although you can
fancy.
grab their legs or whatever to break up a pin.
No, you can get involved a little bit, but you're not really.
But you can't fight them. If you fight them, you get disqualified. So yeah, that's how this ECW show has gone. It's been a whole bunch of. I mean, we started off with a normalised tag team match, so it's not been very extreme.
No.
And yeah, so yeah, the opening match was regarded as match of the night, and funny thing about that, none of those competitors, Eminem or the Hardys, are on the ECW brand. They're on Raw and SmackDown. They just come down because
they were needed
reasons. So yeah, they kept saying on commentary during the match. I remember it. Where they go, we don't know if we'll see him at ECW again. Oh, we don't even know if we'll see him as a tag team again, because they were all talking about wanting to break up and whatnot. So like, the match of the night is between people that aren't even on the brand.
That's shocking.
Yeah.
What?
Yep. Yeah. Then we get the main event, which is Big Show, Hardcore Holly, Test, Van Dam, Bobby Lashley, and CM Punk. RVD and Holly start the match. Every 5 minutes a new person's released in this match.
It's a brawl.
So, Punk enters next, and then Test enters. And then Punk gets eliminated by Rob Van Dam. CM Punk was Paul Heyman's original pick to win this match. He got eliminated first. He's also a crowd favourite.
Yeah.
So everybody wants him to win, but he's been eliminated first. Now, I've already said that Big Show's not winning, and Hardcore Holly's not winning. So CM Punk's been eliminated, so he's not winning. Then Test eliminates Hardcore Holly, which is cool. And then RVD. So RVD's not winning, however, he's like now the only ECW original in this match. So he's also crowd favourite. So if CM Punk wasn't going to win, or if RVD wasn't going to win, the other one should win.
Yeah.
Well, he's now been eliminated. And that then leaves Bobby Lashley, Test, and the Big Show. And we already know the Big Show's not winning. So Lashley breaks out of his pod because the pod wouldn't open. Paul Heyman's security had locked his pod shut, so he couldn't get into the match. He breaks it open, eliminates Test straight away.
Okay.
And then that leaves Bobby Lashley versus the Big Show, who's not going to win.
So, Bobby Lashley.
Bobby Lashley wins. Which is fine, except nobody wanted Bobby Lashley to win.
Who is Bobby Lashley?
Now he's a really good wrestler, but back then he was...
Unheard of.
He was a big, strong boy.
Yeah.
That was it.
Not much of a character yet.
No.
Definitely not built up to the win.
No.
Just...
I mean, he was Donald Trump's representative in the Battle of the Billionaires. Donald Trump picked Bobby Lashley to fight Vince McMahon's pick Umaga at WrestleMania. And Bobby Lashley won. The loser, either Vince or Trump, whichever side lost, they had to have their hair shaved.
Shame it wasn't the other way around.
So Vince then had his hair shaved, right? And started wearing a do-rag. And then started calling himself Extreme. And then went and won the ECW World Championship.
We'll get to that later.
No, we're not, because there's not much to say about that. So, yeah, Vince became champion at some point.
It's concerning.
I mean, he's been WWE champion before.
That's not surprising.
Was in the 90s. So, there is a little bit of a difference, where he was arguably the biggest heel in the company.
Yeah.
Might not have been the best wrestler.
Made sense for him to come through and snag something.
I mean, being the biggest heel and the owner of the company, book yourself to win.
Duh. But the ECW champion doesn't make any sense at all.
No. So, post December to December, ECW turned into a development ground, like NXT is now. Except it didn't have any viewers because it was shit. 2010 it got shut down, and it
just doesn't exist now.
Yeah. So it went from something that could have been great, and then they stuffed around with it, and then turned it into...
completely.
Yeah, they took a concept, went and changed that concept, pretty much just said invert, and that was that, and then everybody went, well, this is shit, and they went, yeah, well, we're now just going to use it to develop our talent, and then they went, but it's too expensive to keep running, so no. And they didn't even have pay-per-view after this.
No.
It was their... I know that One Night Stand was their first pay-per-view.
But this was their first...
This was their first...
standalone.
Yeah, proper pay-per-view that would have a build-up from TV. And they stuffed it. So, how do I make it better?
For starters, let's not do the PG rating version of ECW.
Yeah.
And let's use ECW stars and have ECW stars win the ECW. And
yeah, well, I've got written here, let it be ECW. Let Paul run the show the way it should be ran. The major reason why it failed was because...
Vince took over.
Yeah. So, I think just letting Paul run ECW is how to do it.
Okay.
That's what it says. So just let Paul Heyman do what he did in the 90s, but give him some money to pay them.
Yeah.
And you'll have,
He was running it successfully.
Yeah, it was only that he didn't have money is why it went under, so just give him money. How does this help WWE? Well, they can make a successful third brand, which will make them a lot more money.
Stupid amounts of money.
It's stylistically different, so...
You're diversifying.
Yeah,
which gets you a bigger audience.
Yeah.
So people who aren't interested in the regular bullshit might be more interested in the more violent stuff.
Plus all of those people that, when it folded, stopped watching wrestling. Oh, now it's back.
Hey, it's back, and the old guy's running it, and it's very similar to what it used to be.
Even better, those people who stopped watching it back then, that was like 10 years ago. Now they've got kids. Now their kids are watching it. So then it's just...
Your audience is getting bigger.
Yeah, attract more viewers, which makes more money. That's how you do it. And that money that they make can be used to pay the wrestlers so they don't go under again.
Exactly.
Not rocket science.
No.
But it's Vince, so maybe it is rocket science. I don't know. But, yeah, I don't know, anything you need to add to that?
Not particularly. Look, they're just... I like that they brought it back, and again, it's similar to some of the last two episodes. It starts so good. It starts, and you're like, oh, I can see this is going well,
Yeah.
And then
they shit the bed.
it's amazing how well they shit the bed, though. That's like, it's...
Yeah, you need to get a new bed.
They don't just... it's not like, oh, they, just missed it. It's like, no, they felt the need to fuck around with something that was going well for them. It's self-sabotage.
Yeah. What's even better is that they shit the bed so well that they needed to get a new bed. And they didn't even have to lie in it. Like, usually you do something like that and you're forced to lie in it, but... No, it's WWE. Somehow they managed to get out of that bit.
Biff it, and then they just cut their losses and run.
Yeah. They just go home.
They're not like, oh, we paid for it now, we'll keep it going. It's just like, no, we'll cut this shit. And...
Yeah. Oh, but also, it's not their fault.
No, of course not.
No, that's not.
No, it's the guy that they fired's fault.
Yeah, it's Paul Heyman's fault, and that's why it didn't go very well after they fired him as well. Yeah.
That's it.
Because that's how things work.
Said it was already going downhill.
Yeah, no, see, it was already shit, so how can you make shit any better once you get rid of the thing that made it shit?
Yeah.
That's impossible.
That was their logic, and it's sound logic.
Yeah.
Just
definitely just wasn't Vince.
Based on some bullshit in the first place, yeah.
Yeah, definitely just wasn't Vince. But yeah, that's been it for this episode. Like, share, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, follow the Facebook, Twitter and Twitch. Links to those in the description. Let me know what you thought of the episode in the comment section down below. And preview for next week.
Oof.
18 seconds. Sid, say goodbye.
Have a good one.
And good night.